There's a lot of underlying issues that we've got to sort out, and it started from last week against Parramatta. We've got a habit at the moment, we think we're going all right, and we let things like this happen, so Storm taught us a valuable lesson tonight. Mate, I love Madge. He just said, you know, it's up to us. We've dug this hole, we'll get ourselves out of it. You know, and some of the young boys actually spoke up, which was really refreshing.
They've been sailing it after. They know what we need to do, so they're men, and you know, they spoke about it themselves.
The fact is, you know, we've got a lot of things to sort out. It's going to take everyone in the side to sort it out. We're only halfway through the season, so we've got to really pick it back up. Near the end there, we're starting to get at each other. I think that's the last thing we need at the moment. Start pointing the finger. You know, only the soft ones do that. We need to be strong. We need to come together. We need to sort this out ourselves. So I think as the captain and the leaders of this side, it's up to us to sort out. But you know, like I said, we've got to come together first before we start fixing everything.
Oh, look, we just got blown off the park to start with. I think that was the disappointing part, and couldn't get the bounce of the ball, and everything just went against us. So, but you've got to unrest that, and you know, you've got to be able to stop the momentum. That's where we weren't smart around the smarts of the game of what we were doing, and you know, they ran harder and they created momentum, and they had us on the back foot.
PK, what did you think about Michael Maguire's approach to half-time?
I liked it.
Why?
Because as he said, Ben, they're men. Look, you hear all these crap excuses from players. Oh, we got ambushed. Really? Check the program, because I think the kick-off there, it said, 7 o'clock, whatever time the kick-off was, and they knew about it start of the year. They knew that this rubbish excuse about, oh, we got ambushed, we weren't ready for it. You're playing Melbourne on the Sunshine Coast. Like, if you don't turn up there ready for a game, you get what you get, and they got what they got. So don't give me that.
Kenny, you can't just walk out. You got to talk. What was the score at half? You do have to talk.
Buzz, nothing he can say is going to turn him around.
Oh, aren't they? You don't think he's got some stats he might like to share with them, or some advice from his assistant coaches?
How does stats help?
How does it help
when it's
walking out, Kenty?
Buzz, when it's 40 how does stats help?
I don't know. He might have been able to point out.
Buzz, they needed to find.
So you're saying it's all hard?
Yes. Mate, if you're down 40-0, it's not stats or game plan.
I will say
it's
this,
effort.
I saw what they dished up after half-time.
And they clearly don't have it in them.
It was almost worse than the opening 10 minutes.
They clearly don't have it in them. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to take a flamethrower to the roster.
Kenny, there had to be some issues around their defence structure and why they were just so soft.
This is the
issue for Madge, Buzz, is that Madge has built his reputation and won a premiership over here and in England based on the fact that he's a defensive mindset coach. The Tigers are leaking nearly 30 points on average per game.
Who's his defence coach, James?
It's not good. It's not good enough in the NRL.
You watch the game.
Shane Millard
one at a time,
and Snoopy Collins.
Watch the game and watch how passive they are defensively. And I'm talking about as far as commitment to the tackle, not about structure or the coaching thing. I'm just talking about what you got in the chest. The amount of times they go passively into a tackle where they're protecting their head, they've got that out here turned away, arm tackles, there's no shoulder in the tackle. It was embarrassing. For first grade players to be on $500,000 and more to turn out
what you have just said, Madge should have said to the players at half-time, you're an embarrassment.
I think he said enough.
It's bigger than what Madge can say at half-time.
It's not. He's the NRL head coach, James.
Yes, Phil, can we finish, right? The West Tigers and the issues at the West Tigers are far broader than anything that Michael Maguire can say in a half-time speech when they're down 40-0. Well, let's go back, right? The old Jack Gibson line, winning starts on Monday and winning starts in the front office. Let's go back, right? Justin Pascoe, the CEO, has been the CEO, right, since 2016. Let's go back over the last 5 years. He sacked Robbie Farah, right, who was a star player of the club at enormous cost.
At the end of his career.
Well, no, then he came back to the club after that. He went to South and had a couple of years at South. Let me finish, please. So he sacked Robbie Farah, or he presided over that. Then he sacked Jason Taylor, the head coach, 6 months later.
Correct decision.
He was the coach who got rid of Robbie Farah, right? Then he decided he wanted to go and hire Ivan Cleary. We all know where that ended up. Under Ivan's tenure, they signed Russell Packer, Josh Reynolds, Moses Mbai and Ben Madalino. They're only just starting to come out of that mess now.
Well, I don't think there's any players left from Cleary's roster still there at the West Tigers.
There are Moses Mbai and Russell Packer.
When it comes down to pure coaching, so one of the popular narratives that go around now is when the coach has the blow up, all the experts sit back and go, well, you only get 1 or 2 of those a year. Michael Maguire's probably used his up, given some of their performances this year. Let's go back to the Cowboys game, for example. Probably used it up that day. So this day, instead of going in and giving the big blow up, he just sat there, said, boys, you dug your own hole, dig yourselves out. And then he left and he took everybody out with him and he left the dressing room to the players. Now, they've got an ounce of go in them. They sort themselves out.
Here's the big question, though. Where to now? I know Tavita Pangai Jr.'s name has been mentioned. Often I hear the response being he's not the type of player they need. So if it's not Pangai...
Finucane.
Steve Rhodes said it last night. Michael Ennis has written it. Cooper Cronk said it. Dale Finucane's the player who can be the beginning of this club starting to turn a corner. But I'll go back to the management, and it's been awful. Dating back over the last 10 years, the players they've let go, Ben. James Tedesco, Ryan Papenhuyzen, Josh Addo-Carr, Mitchell Moses, Ryan Madison.
What are you calling for here? It feels like you're building up to someone. Are you pointing the finger at Pascoe?
I blogged on Fox Sports today, and the overwhelming view, right, from all the Tigers supporters was that the management's been awful and they've cultivated an environment of failure, which led to that performance at the Sunshine Coast on Saturday night.
I interviewed Lee Hadjipentalis this morning in the Telegraph, and they are determined to play a patient game. They're not going to sack Michael Maguire. They've got Tim Sheens on the way, and they've got Brett Camorley on the way to work on their pathways, and it's terrific with junior football. So I said in this show a month ago, they need a 5-year plan, they need to be steady, they need a slow but steady rebuild.
The concern for me for Michael Maguire is if you go back to his South Sydney team, OK, would he have recruited Joey Leilua into that South Sydney team? Probably not. James Robertson into that South Sydney team? Probably not. So he's got to recruit players to the club that are true to the way he wants to play football, and not be pressured into thinking I need a quick fix. I'm going to get these guys into the club now.
That was James Tarmow, a captain of Penrith. And if you can add Finucane to that pack, they're two really solid culture middle forwards.
I like James Tarmow. I like him, but I'm talking about some of the other blokes that have been brought there. I don't think Maguire would have taken them to South when he was getting the performance out of it that he wanted out of his
struggled to attract players. Madge has struggled to attract players. Hopefully with the return of Tim Sheens, that may be able to change. But you go back to Latrell Mitchell. They offered Latrell Mitchell $4 million over 4 years.
You blew up at me when I mentioned this last time.
And he opted not to take it.
Because I don't think Latrell took a pay cut. I don't think he did.